Hello everyone, welcome back to English second paper class of academic English. I hope all of you are staying well and healthy. This is your Simi Miss now with you to lead this virtual session. Dear boys, your quiz exam is knocking at the door. I hope all of you are reading attentively and taking preparation seriously. I hope you are very clear about your syllabus. In your syllabus, you have two topics, transformation of sentences and connectors. Dear boys, you will find 20 questions. I'm repeating again. You will find 20 questions and you have to select the right answer from four multiple questions. Dear boys, the exam will be taken in Google form. You are already informed about that, and I hope you have appeared the link I provided you um, as the sample question of Google form. So if you go through to that link, then you will be very cleared about the question pattern. Now, dear boys, let's move to the lesson. So today we are going to discuss about changing sentences from compound to complex. Since our last lesson we were discussing about changing sentences from simple to complex. So, before going in details about changing sentences from compound to complex, let's talk about what is compound sentence. A compound sentence is characterized by at least two independent clauses which can be used as separate sentences and are connected with coordinating conjunctions. So, dear boys, I'm repeating again. A compound sentence is characterized by at least two independent clauses which can be used as separate sentences and are connected with coordinating conjunctions. Okay? So now let's move to rule number 1. If the compound sentence uses the conjunction but or yet to connect the different clauses, the complex sentence will use though or although in the beginning and but or yet will be removed. I am repeating again. If the compound sentence uses the conjunction but or yet, as we have already known about the fact that in our compound sentence we will find coordinating conjunction. So if we have but or yet conjunction in our compound sentence to connect different clauses, the sentence will be used though or although in the beginning and but or yet will be removed. So here you can see the example. He is poor, but he is happy. Here you see this is a compound sentence. He is poor. Here we have two clauses and we have a coordinating conjunction here, that is but. And according to our instruction, if we have but in our compound sentence, we have to use though or although to change the sentence from compound to complex. So here you see, though he is poor, he is happy. Though he is poor, he is happy. So dear boys, at the very beginning of the sentence, we have used though. Okay, we have used though, and as we know, complex sentence has two clauses. One is dependent and another is independent clause. An independent clause will dependent clause will uh, rely on independent clause to complete its meaning. Okay, so here you see, though he is poor, he is happy. So here we have another example. She is ill, yet she worked very hard. So here we have yet coordinating conjunction in our compound sentence. So we all know that according to the structure, if we want to change a compound sentence from compound to complex, then and if we have yet in our compound sentence, then we have to use though or although. Okay, so what to write down? We can say although, then the first clause, she is ill, then comma, and after that She worked very hard, the second clause. Okay. So here we have another example. The class was lengthy, but it was enjoyable. The class was lengthy, but it was enjoyable. So what are we going to do? We are going to use though or although as we have but in our compound sentence. So we are going to use though the class was lengthy, the class was enjoyable. Okay. So now move to rule number 2. If the compound sentence uses the conjunction or otherwise. If we have or otherwise in our compound sentence to connect different clauses and future tense is used in the second clause. The complex sentence uses lest in the middle and should after the person. Okay? So dear boys, if we have or otherwise as conjunction in our compound sentence to connect different clauses, and if we have future clause as the second clause, then we have to use lest. Okay, we have to use lest in the middle of the sentence, and we have to use should after the person. Okay, this is very easy. So here's the example. Study hard or you will fail. Study hard or you will fail. So you see, we have or here. We have or here, and we have two contradictory sentences. When we want to join two contradictory sentences or two contradictory clauses together, then we use the coordinating conjunction or. Okay. So now what are we going to do? We are going to use lest. Okay. Study hard lest. And after lest, we should use the verb should. We have to use the verb should. Okay. Study hard lest you should fail. Okay. Next one. Practice hard, otherwise you will be out of the cricket team. Practice hard, otherwise you will be out of the cricket team. Okay. So here we are going to use or, and we have to use should after the subject. Okay. Here you see, practice hard lest you should be out of the cricket team. So we are instructed to use should after the subject. Okay. So you see, practice hard lest you should be out of the cricket team. Very easy. So here is rule number 3. If the compound sentence uses the conjunction and to join the different clauses, the complex sentence will use as soon as in the beginning, removing and from the middle. So what is the rules? The rule is if the compound sentence uses conjunction and. Okay? If we have the conjunction and in the compound sentence, okay, then we have to use as soon as at the beginning, removing and from the middle. Okay, here you see the example. The rain stopped and we started the journey. The rain stopped and we started the journey. So dear boys, here you can see the conjunction and at the middle of the sentences. To join two clauses, we have used and here. Okay, when we want to join two similar types of clauses, okay, two similar type of clauses, then we use and. So the answer is as soon as the rain stopped. You see, at first we have used as soon as at the very beginning of the sentence. Then we have written the first clause, the rain stopped. After that we have put a comma and then we started the journey. We started the journey. Okay, very easy. Next one. The crowd saw the hero and started shouting. So here you see and. Okay. So this is also same type of clauses. We use and to join same types of clauses. Okay. So for and we are going to use as soon as at the very beginning of the sentence. Okay. And after that we are going to write down the first clause and we are going to give a comma and then we are going to write down the next clause. So here you go. As soon as the crowd saw the hero and comma, they started shouting. Isn't it easy? So you see, as soon as, then the first clause, the crowd saw the hero, the crowd saw the hero, and comma, they started shouting. Only we have used the pronoun here. For the crowd, we have used they. Now move to rule number 4. If the compound sentence uses and, so or hence, therefore, to connect the different clauses, the complex sentence uses since, as, when in the beginning, removing and, so, hence, therefore from the middle. So if we have and, so, hence, therefore, this type of uh, conjunction in our compound sentence, then we have to use what? Since, as, when. Since, as, when at the beginning, removing this type of conjunctions. Okay, so here you see the example. You will be very clear about the rules. The weather was bad and the match did not take place. Okay, the weather was bad. This is a clause, and the match did not take place. Okay, so here we have and. So for and, when this type of clauses expresses reason. Okay, before this rule we have got and that and didn't express any reason. But here you see the weather was bad. This is a reason, and the match did not take place. So the weather was bad. This is the reason of the not taking place of the match. So that's why here we have used and. In this type of cases, we have to use since, as, or when. Okay, so since, and after that we are going to write down this first clause. Since the weather was bad, the match did not take place. Boys, be sincere and be clear about this rule. Okay, firstly, you see, this is a reason of not taking place of the match. When this type of reason comes forward and we use and to join this type of clauses, then we have to use since, as, when we are changing sentences from compound to complex. She was ill, so she did not come. She was ill, so she did not come. Okay, what are we going to do? We are going to use since, as, or when here. Okay, you see, as she was ill, she did not come. As she was ill, she did not come. Okay, so here we have another example. The sun has set to the west, and therefore it is evening. Okay, this is the reason. The sun has set to the west, and therefore it is evening. Okay, so now we are going to use these words. It is evening, when it is evening, the sun has set to the west. When it is evening, the sun has set to the west. All right. Rule number 5. If the compound sentence uses and to connect two different clauses about the same person, the complex sentence will use a relative pronoun who in place of and, removing the pronoun after it. So, if the compound sentence uses and to connect two different clauses, okay, about the same person, right? The complex sentence will use relative pronoun who in place of and, removing the pronoun after it. Okay, so let's see the example. I saw a girl and she was singing. Now what are we going to do? Firstly, we are going to remove and we are going to write down who. Okay, so here you go. I saw a girl who was singing, and we have removed the pronoun she from the sentence. You see, I saw a girl who was singing. Another example. I have a friend and she is a writer. So you see, firstly we are going to remove this conjunction and we are going to remove this pronoun and we are going to use who. I have a friend who is a writer. I have a friend who is a writer. Very easy. Okay, so rule number 6. If the compound sentence follows this structure, let plus object form of pronoun and affirmative form of subordinate clause, or otherwise plus main clause. The complex sentence starts with if, having first or third person after it, and it bears a negative meaning. You see, if the compound sentence follows this structure, let subject form of pronoun, affirmative form of subordinate clause, or otherwise the main clause. The complex sentence starts with if, having first or third person after it, and it bears a negative meaning. Be clear by this example. You see, let me go there, or otherwise I will be unable to learn it. Okay, let me go. So let here, and then pronoun, objective form, and then verb, and then main clause. Okay, otherwise, and then main clause, right? So what will be the answer? We are going to use if plus, you see, if I do not go there, let me go there. So here we have used the subject I and auxiliary verb do not go there. I will be unable to learn it. Let me study hard, or otherwise I will be unable to get good marks. Okay? If I do not study hard, I will be unable to get good marks. Rule number 7. If the compound sentence follows this structure, let plus subject form of pronoun and between two clauses. Main clause. Okay, plus main clause. The complex sentence starts with if, having first or third person after it, and it is an affirmative form. Let me study hard and I will be able to get good marks. Okay, if the compound sentence uses an affirmative form of verb or otherwise plus main clause, the complex sentence starts with if, having the second person after it and expressing a negative meaning. So you see, study hard or you will fail. So what are we going to do? You see, the structure is firstly verb, and then or otherwise, and then what? Main clause. So for this type of sentence, what are we going to do? Firstly, we are going to use if. So if you and negative clause will be written. You see, if you do not study, negative expression, but having a positive meaning. You see, if you do not study hard, you will fail. If you do not study hard, you will fail. Practice more or you cannot become a good singer. If you do not practice more. If you do not practice more, you cannot become a good singer. Right. So look at rule number 9. If the compound sentence uses an affirmative form of verb plus and plus main clause, the complex sentence starts with if, having second person after it, and it is in affirmative form. You see the example. Study hard and you will get good marks. Okay. If you study hard, you will get good marks. Read more and your writing capability will increase. If you read more, your writing capability will increase. Okay. Here you see rule number 10. If the compound sentence has this form, very and, so hence therefore plus main clause. The complex sentence will use so that form. Okay, see, I am very tired and so hence therefore I cannot work. So what are we going to do? We are going to use so that. So that. I'm so tired that I cannot work. Just this way. I'm so tired that I cannot work. So here you see the next example. The place is very crowded and so hence therefore I cannot find a place. You can say this place is very crowded. So I cannot find a place to stand. The place is very crowded. Hence I cannot find a place to stand. The place is very crowded. Therefore I cannot find a place to stand. So what are we going to do? We are going to use so that. Say, the place is so crowded that I cannot find a place to stand. Right? Rule number 11. If the compound sentence uses or between two clauses starting an advice, the complex sentence starts with unless following second person you. Okay? You see, if the compound sentence uses or between two clauses stating an advice. Okay, the complex sentence starts with unless following second person you. You see, say prayers or you cannot advise anyone to say prayers. Okay, you see, say prayers or you cannot advise anyone to say prayers. Okay, so you see, unless you say prayers, you cannot advise anyone to say prayers. Practice hard or you cannot become a good singer. Unless you practice hard, you cannot become a good singer. So dear boys, this is the end of today's lesson. If you have any confusion or any type of question regarding the lesson, feel free to ask me. Take proper preparation for your exam and go through to your lesson regularly and practice regularly. Take care. Thanks to you all.